My name is Alon Fainstein, and I'm an artist, and I use the skills that I've learned as a blacksmith to create my art. The only thing that's ever really made sense to me is art. I was not really an academic, leaving school, the AAA School of Advertising, doing the graphic arts course was the only thing that really appealed to me. And did that, and very quickly realized that wasn't the industry I was going to be pursuing. So then ventured out into the big wide world. I had this mate from school who was great with woodwork. One day he took me to see a friend of his who was a blacksmith. This day changed my life forever. After walking into John's workshop, who was a much older Italian blacksmith, and seeing all the anvils, tools, hammers, and smelling the burning coal, a switch got flicked and knew this was the direction we needed to be pursuing. So in 1997, we moved into a workshop in Salt River. This was the beginning of a huge new chapter for me. We set the space up with a blacksmithing section for me and woodwork section for him. We began teaching ourselves this incredible craft. Everything was trial and error, and I still maintain that the steel together with an aware and present state of mind is the best teacher. I worked on the anvil for about 7 years, doing everything by hand, and was then exposed to another blacksmith's workshop where most of the work was done on massive power hammers. The sheer scale of what could be done on the power hammers blew my mind, and shortly after that started a new journey learning how to forge steel under these massive machines. My friend and I worked together for about 18 years, and we combined his woodworking skills with my blacksmithing skills and worked on many massive projects which hugely expanded our skills and knowledge of the craft. For a long time, something inside me had been yearning to change direction. I was feeling the need to steer my own ship. I knew there was more inside of me that was dying to come out. I knew that this wasn't going to happen under the current circumstances. "20 15 was the start of it all. A whole new chapter and learning curve faced me yet again. I burned all my bridges and decided to jump in. I started in a small space and was fortunate enough to buy some tools from an incredible blacksmith who was retiring. Things started to move pretty fast for me. I bought a piece of land and designed my studio. This is my space. I continue to pour a lot of time into adding not only my own art, but various types of different art, furniture, plants, etc. that has created my private bubble of magic away from the rest of the world where I can create. Leading a very spiritual life, my environment and space is very sacred to me, and feel working alone as an artist, I thrive best in my solitude. In 2019, I spent around 9 months, 7 days a week, creating a body of work for my first solo exhibition called Connect. Since then, I've started to focus on my own art, which has allowed many new doors and opportunities to open for me. I related the steel to the ego, being rigid, stubborn, set in its ways, and afraid of change. And the more I let my ego go, the more the material let itself go. And there was this amazing symbiotic process of us both revealing more of our true essence. I wasn't boxed in by drawings or any type of map to navigate by, only the present moment. This helped me realize that it had taken me 30 years to make the steel do what I wanted, and only now was beginning to let the steel do what it wanted. I discovered so much more about how to work with the steel, changing its narrative with the types of tools I use to create the textures, as well as the shapes and forms that came out of this process. The significance of 33, I didn't even know until it was given to me. I was a DJ back in the 90s, and I was making a tune with a mate, and we had to rush to get out of there, and he had to save the file, and I said, how are you going to know that's my tune? He said, no, I'll just call it A33. And I was a drum and bass DJ with a whole bunch of guys. We had a collective, and the one guy said, hey, that's not a bad alias to have, as your DJ name. It's like, cool, I'll take it. And since then, which was probably 25 years ago, that number I would wake up in the middle of the night and it would be 233. I would just start noticing that number everywhere. I picked up a baseball bat that I used to play with when I was a kid. The size was 33. It's a Christ consciousness number, a master number. It's just something that has just stuck out for me. And now when I work and I create, I echo that throughout the pieces. So a lot of the work that you see will have 3 legs on the one side, 3 legs on the other. In various sculptures and functional art pieces, you will definitely notice the 33. And now that I've mentioned it, and when you see the work, you'll be like, okay, I see the 33. The best advice I can give for any aspiring artist would be action. Get into action. Action will cure 99% of your perceived problems. Why I say this is that when you get into action, you physically making something which you have a reference point to then look at. If you're sitting there just thinking about things and the enormity of the path that lies in front of you, you are going to think yourself out of it and get paralysis by analysis. So I've noticed, and the way that I work is jump in and start. You don't even have to know how or what or why or when. Just do something, and by something it is a cause and effect process that you got into action, you've caused an effect, and now that effect is a reference point for you to look at. And you either like that reference point, and if you don't, you can change that course, or you can go with that reference point, and then that will lead to more action and more action and more action. The only way I got to discovering myself and the art that I've created was by just doing. And what is the so-called perceived mistake is not a mistake, because if it's not going to work for that piece, you can put it in your basket of experiences that you've had, and when you're busy on something else, you can go, wait, I remember back then I did that and I kind of like that, and I'm going to use it for this. So getting into action just opens everything up. It doesn't mean that it's going to happen immediately for you, but it's going to definitely massively expand on your capabilities, on what you're going to learn. And if you have a present state of mind, and you are really conscious and watching the cause and effect that you are having on the material that you're working with, you're going to grow so much faster.